Hillsong Music is Christian music produced by Hillsong Church in Sydney, Australia, as well as offshoot churches, Hillsong London and Hillsong Kiev. Hillsong albums are released and distributed by Hillsong Music Australia. History: Hillsong Church's popularity in Christian praise and worship music stems from the inauguration of the Hillsong Conference in the late 1980s and the first publication of choruses written by Hill's CLC members, especially Darlene Skitch. Their first live worship CD, The Power of Your Love, was released in 1992. Since then, live praise and worship albums have been produced each year. Other music series include the Worship Series, United, Youth Alive, Hillsong Kids and Instrumental Series. They have also released 2 Christmas albums and several compilation albums. Popularity: some Hillsong songs have distinct gospel influences. Hillsong music titles regularly feature in the top 25 of most songs sung in all reporting countries recorded through the CCLI website. People Just Like Us was the first Christian album to achieve gold status in Australia as well as the first to go platinum. To date, all Hillsong live worship albums have achieved gold status in Australia. In 1996, Hillsong music reached international prominence with the release of Shout to the Lord, produced by Integrity Music. This was Integrity Music's first live worship album featuring a female worship leader, Darlene Skitch. The 2004 Hillsong live worship album For All You've Done debuted at number 1 on the Australian Record Industry Association album charts. There was some controversy about this outcome as almost all of the albums were sold at Hillsong's annual conference held in early July. The Australian Recording Industry Association have defended the outcome, noting that the album sold more copies than any other record on sale in Australia that week. As of December 2011, Hillsong has sold more than 12 million records across the globe, following its first release in 1991, and a quarter of all contemporary songs heard in Australian churches in 2011 were written by Hillsong. Awards: Hillsong music has achieved many international awards. Shout to the Lord was nominated for the 1997 Praise and Worship Album of the Year Dove Award. The song Shout to the Lord, written by Darlene Skitch, was nominated for the 1998 Song of the Year Dove Award. By Your Side received a nomination for the 2001 Praise and Worship Album of the Year Dove Award. In 1999, Darlene received the International Impact of the Year Award from the American Gospel Music Association. You Are My World received a nomination for the 2002 Praise and Worship Album of the Year Dove Award. Blessed also received a nomination for the Praise and Worship Album of the Year Dove Award. My Hope, written by Darlene Skitch, was nominated for the 2004 Inspirational Song of the Year Dove Award. Mighty to Save, written by Ben Fielding and Reuben Morgan, received the 2009 Worship Song of the Year Dove Award. Worship Leaders: Darlene Skitch is the composer of the famous worship song Shout to the Lord. Skitch became worship pastor after Jeff Bullock resigned, partly because of their success. Bullock had composed most of Hillsong's early songs in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Russell Froggar, former Hillsong music pastor, produced the first 10 live worship albums before leaving Hillsong Church for Virginia, U.S. in 2001. Other prominent worship leaders include Reuben Morgan, who rose to fame for his song I Gave You My Heart, and Marty Sampson, who was integral in the success of early Hillsong United albums. Recently, Joel Houston, son of Brian and Bobby Houston, has become one of the Hillsong worship leaders and songwriters and has also initiated Hillsong's I Heart Revolution. Currently, Cassandra Langton serves as creative pastor together with her husband Rich, overseeing everything creative at Hillsong including Hillsong Music. The worship pastor of Hillsong Global is Reuben Morgan. In January 2011, Darlene Skitch and her husband left Hillsong Australia with the support of Brian and Bobby Houston. They became senior pastors at Church Unlimited in Charm Haven on the New South Wales Central Coast. Darlene Skitch explained Hillsong's stance in her book Extravagant Worship. She wrote the Hillsong team prayer: Father, let them quickly get their eyes off of us. We just want to point them to you, God, because you are the author of truth. You are the only one who is to be praised. The Hillsong United team also tours the globe, reaching others with the music that comes from the very heart of Hillsong Church. Albums. Early albums were released solely on cassette and CD. Video recordings of the live albums have also been made for VHS since the second album in 1993, and additionally for DVD since 2000, with increasing additional content such as documentaries and extra songs. The Hillsong United series CDs have included an additional free part-length DVD since 2004. Several music books have also been published. Including all the series and other special releases, they have more than 125 albums, in 15 series. Hillsong Worship Albums equals The Power of Your Love, Stones Been Rolled Away, People Just Like Us, Friends in High Places, God is in the House, All Things Are Possible, Touching Heaven Changing Earth, By Your Side, For This Cause, You Are My World, Blessed, Hope, For All You've Done, God He Reigns, Mighty to Save, Savior King, This Is Our God, Faith Plus Hope Plus Love, A Beautiful Exchange, God Is Able, Cornerstone, Glorious Ruins, No Other Name, Open Heaven / River Wild. Hillsong United albums equals 1. Every Day, Best Friend, King of Majesty, To the Ends of the Earth, More Than Life, Look to You, United We Stand, Unidos Permanecemos, All of the Above, In a Valley by the Sea, The I Heart Revolution. Part 1, With Hearts as One, Across the Earth, Tear Down the Walls, Aftermath, Live in Miami, Zion, Oceans, Zion Acoustic Sessions, The White Album, Empires. Hillsong Chapel albums equals Yahweh, Forever Reign. Hillsong Young and Free albums equals We Are Young and Free, This Is Living. Special singles by series above equals It Is Well With My Soul, Vivo Esta S, The Stand, Oka Copywriter Knows, Noel, Peace Has Come, Vida Tami Das. Hillsong Kids albums equals Jesus Is My Superhero, Super Strong God, Supernatural, Tell the World, Follow You, Ultimate Kids Collection, Hillsong Kids Big Curriculum. Hillsong Kids Junior albums equals Crazy Noise. Worship Series albums equals Simply Worship 2, Simply Worship 3, Overwhelmed, Amazing Love, Faithful, Songs for Communion. Youth Alive albums equals Jump to the Jam, Chosen One, The Plan, 1, Awake, Elevate. Instrumental worship albums equals The Secret Place, Forever. Christmas albums equals Christmas, Celebrating Christmas, Born is the King, We Have a Savior. Compilation albums equals Hill's Praise, Extravagant Worship, The Songs of Darlene Skitch, Extravagant Worship, The Songs of Reuben Morgan, The Platinum Collection Volume 1, Shout to the Lord. The Platinum Collection Volume 2, Shout to the Lord 2, Ultimate Worship, Extravagant Worship, The Songs of Miriam Webster, Ultimate Collection Volume 2, Extravagant Worship, The Songs of Joel Houston, You'll Come, The Very Best of Hillsong Live, Tour Collection Limited Edition, It's Christmas, Ultimate Kids Collection. Special edition that includes a special release of Look to You, United We Stand and All of the Above. Other albums equals Show Your Glory, Shout to the Lord I Believe the Promise, Shout to the Lord 2000, You Shine, Overwhelmed, Hillsong Plus Delirious. UP, Unified Praise, Hillsong Kiev. Sydney. London THTH 3/4 NTH 3/4 TH no TH squared NTH micron TH cubed TH 3/4, God is Able EP, Cornerstone, Hillsong Global Project. Spanish albums equals Canta al C plus or minus or, Unidos Permanecemos, Con Todo, En Mi Lugar, Global Project Espa plus or minus all, En Esto Creo. Portuguese albums equals Aclamo Sinner, Global Project Portuguesa S. Hillsong London albums equals Shout God's Fame, Jesus Is, Remix, Hail to the King. Hillsong Kiev albums equals Tithe degree 1/4 na Euro studio album, thon plus or minus n florin micron 1/4 n degree squared and no Euro live praise and worship, th 3/4 th 1/2 degree micron n florin n degree 1/4 th 3/4 na Euro live praise and worship, thin Euro nth cubed th degree th to the first th squared th 1/2 th micron plus or minus th micron nth degree Euro youth worship. th 3/4 th cubed th 3/4 th 1/4 th squared th 3/4 th 1/4 th 3/4 th paragraph th 1/2 th 3/4 th squared na Euro live praise and worship, tithe th degree th 1/2 Euro youth worship, th micron th plus or minus th micron nth degree th 1/2 th degree th micron th 1/4 th micro Euro live praise and worship, thon nth plus or minus th 1/4 th micron and no th 3/4 th plus or minus nth 3/4 th 1/4 Euro kids series, th and florin nth to the first th n Euro n florin th cubed a Euro live praise and worship, th micron th squared th 3/4 th na Euro youth worship, th degree n Euro no th micron th na Euro live praise and worship, tithe 3/4 th paragraph th degree n Euro youth worship, th degree th squared degree th squared n on th 1/2 th na Euro live praise and worship, th n florin nth 1/4 th 3/4 th to the first th florin th micron n Euro th cubed th micron n Euro th 3/4 th to the first a Euro kids series, th 3/4 th 1/4 th 3/4 th to the first th 3/4 th 1/4 a Euro live praise and worship, th degree nth micron th 1/2 th micro a Euro youth worship, th florin th micron n Euro. Cth knoweth 1/2 nth to the first th 3/4 th cubed a Euro kids series, th squared th micron n Euro nnsh th micron nth micron nth squared th micron th 1/2 th 1/2 nth to the first th 3/4 th cubed a Euro kids series, th 3/4 nth 3/4 th no th squared nth micron th cubed th 3/4 a Euro live praise and worship, th nth degree n Euro no a Euro live praise and worship, th 3/4 th 1/2 th degree n Euro no a Euro live praise and worship, th 3/4 th cubed th n and no th un th plus or minus th 3/4 th squared no a Euro live praise and worship, th micron n Euro th degree th micron th 1/4 na Euro youth worship, th un th micron th cubed th 3/4 th 1/4 th n Euro th degree nth squared th micron na Euro kids series, th nth 1/4 th plus or minus th degree th cubed th 3/4 th degree nth a Euro youth worship, th micron th degree th 1/2 n live praise and worship. Music videos. Other versions of their songs. See also, Hillsong musicians, list of Hillsong albums, list of Hillsong songs, Diante do Trono, a Brazilian praise and worship ministry similar to Hillsong. External links. Official website, Hillsong Music Ukraine website. References